Let's have a conversation.
What's going on, everybody? We are on the last episode of the Reindeer Games. Episode 6. The final showdown. So we knew that we had X, we had Taylor, we had Frankie, and we had Nicole in that final four. So we never knew what the format was going to be. The format ends up being they start off by having one last naughty or nice challenge. The person who wins the naughty or nice challenge was Xavier. So Xavier gets to choose an advantage, and it's like an advantage and a disadvantage again. So what happens is each of the four players end up in two semifinal brackets, one on one side, one on the other side. He gets to choose who he goes against and who the other person goes against. So he chooses the brackets, and the person that he goes against gets a 30-second disadvantage where he gets to start first and they have to wait 30 seconds. So he's weighing who he should go against. And honestly, I said this about the Reindeer Games because the Reindeer Games are not set up like the Big Brother games. Generally, the regular Big Brother games where you're running back and forth, jumping, holding things, that kind of thing. And it seems to be like a little bit of leg work with a lot of mental work. It's anybody's game no matter who's picked. And I'm not just saying that because I wanted X to win his bracket, but because I genuinely thought that anybody could beat anybody when it comes down to this final four. Even though if I was picking on paper, yeah, I'm going to pick the all-around person who's more athletic, but Big Brother Reindeer Games operates a little bit different as we've seen. So X has a choice, really. He's not going to pick Taylor because they're aligned and they want to work together and they want to be in the end and go against each other in the end. So therefore, he is choosing, do I want to pick Nicole or do I want to pick Frankie? Again, on paper, Frankie's the harder choice. And quite honestly, I kind of think Frankie could have beat him in this too. So I know that a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, look at that. You picked Nicole and she takes you out." But I think Frankie could have taken him out too. Like it's that type of game. And we've seen he's not good at every game. There's games that he's good at, there's games that he's not good at. I mean, he won in 3, I think 3 or 4. No, 4. He won in 4 Santa Showdowns. So there's things that he's good at, but he never won any of the Jingle Bell Brawls. So there's things that he's not good at. So what this challenge ends up being is this thing that we've seen on Big Brother before. The last time I remember seeing it, I think it was Big Brother 24. I want to say Brittany won. Brittany from Big Brother 24 won that Gears thing. I remember Turner was in it. I think that might have been the one where Monty didn't get up fast enough from his bed and didn't end up getting to participate. I don't know. But I know that's the last time I remember seeing that particular challenge. And it looks like a tough one where you got to put all the gears on the board and get everything to connect and spin, and then you win. So it looked like a crapshoot, even though X got that 30-second advantage. Nicole got over there, and then they kept showing those confessionals. Those confessionals were playing up the underdog thing heavy. They were playing up the underdog thing. Every episode that they showed a Nicole diary room, I don't think I can do this. My arms are too short. I can't go against a competitor like X. Oh my God. And I'm like, this is the same thing we saw her do on both her other seasons, and she made it first and third. So I was never buying that for anything, but all of them did. So good for her. So, okay, big upset. Nicole takes out X in round one. So that leaves round two. Round two is going to be Frankie versus Taylor. And nobody thinks that Frankie is going to lose to Taylor, or it seems more likely that Frankie's going to beat Taylor, especially because we've seen Frankie be a comp beast. And we've never actually seen that out of Taylor. She won based on her social game. Although I will say, was she even in a Santa showdown this Reindeer Games? I don't think so. So I think her social strategy also aided her in this game as well. So upset alert. We get another upset. Taylor ends up taking out Frankie, who Cody has dubbed as the most dangerous player in the game. And now we have this final showdown. The Reindeer Game showdown is between the two ladies. The two ladies that were probably regarded coming in as the two smallest threats. In Taylor's case, I might be able to understand a little bit more based on her season, but in Nicole's case, I don't understand. But anyways, they get into this final challenge, and I'm saying advantage Nicole because Nicole is really good at a lot of things. Like if it's not something that's really extremely physical, she's going to be good at it. If there's puzzles, she's going to be good at it. And this was multiple puzzles. And Taylor did get out to an early lead. In part, that lead was because of her height and her length. She was able to stack the Christmas tree, walk up the Christmas tree, and grab the mistletoe. I think it was a mistletoe. Hi, Lisa. And then she got to the next thing, which was a puzzle thing. And then it showed the edits again where Taylor finished the puzzle. And then it's like, she's like, oh my God, I think that I can't do this. I didn't believe any of that for a second. It was just a dramatic edit to make us think that Taylor was so far ahead. There's no possible way that she could win. But that kind of thing, with the amount of times they showed those snowflakes falling, if y'all watched the Squid Games challenge where they were doing the thing with the key and doing the rock, paper, scissors to see which key would open the door, and they did the key a bunch of times. When you see a challenge like that stacking snowflakes, you know that a time advantage helps you minimally. Minimally. The time advantage is not a big deal in something like that. And I would take my chances with Nicole over almost anyone 99 times out of 100 doing some kind of stacking puzzle challenge, honestly. So as much as I wanted to see Taylor get that done, well, obviously, for the sake of the person I picked in my fantasy draft, I wanted Frankie to get it done. But as a fan, I would have loved to see either X or Taylor get it done. But credit to Nicole, she does it again. I can never discredit her as a competitor. What I can say, here's my thing. I always give credit where credit is due in terms of saying, if you find ways to win, then you're a winner. I cannot take you being a winner away from you. But the way that she wins is just not a way that resonates with me, which is to downplay her threat level to make people think, oh, I'm going to just leave her in because I have to get out Cody. I have to get out Xavier. I have to get out this person. I got to get out that one. Daniel's such a big threat. Danielle is such a big threat. This one, and this one. And she's the last person that they're looking at. But the point of the whole thing is to get to the end. So if you leave somebody in there because they're not a threat in your mind, they have a chance to win. And she's not a Victoria. No offense to the Big D, Aza. She's not one of them. She's not an Enzo. She's not one of these people who, you take them to the end and you're like, I have no worries about my ability to beat them in a comp because she wins comps. She does. So she's mastered the art of making herself appear like an Alyssa Snyder or like a Victoria or one of these players. She's mastered that art of making you think you have nothing to worry about with me because I'm short, I'm not athletic, I'm not cool under pressure, blah, 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 blah. She's mastered the art of crying and self deprecation. And everyone believes her and feels sorry for her. Poor Nicole, poor Nicole. And then she walks out with the check. She's a scam artist, honestly. When you think about it, she's a scam artist. She's a good scam artist. I got to give her that. She probably does things like that with her kids at home in her sleep. She's constantly saying how much smarter always, and they always fall for it. Always. I don't know how. I don't know how. By the way, congratulations in my fantasy draft league. We completed our first fantasy draft. I know y'all have been asking for the updates and not all of you are in. Not all of you are in my Discord. So, as an update, Ma took it home with Taylor and Nicole going head to head. Lisa and Ma were the winner of that, basically was going to win the whole thing. And because Nicole won, that means Ma won our inaugural fantasy draft. And if y'all want to know the results of the rest of us, okay, so Ma finishing first, Lisa finishing second. With Taylor eliminating Frankie, I finished in third. Tasha finished in fourth, but her guy X hung in there all the way into the finals. And Cass finished fifth. Cass had the first two picks. Well, not the first two picks, but the first pick and then a wild card pick where she was allowed to pick anyone. They said it was rigged for me, just like it was rigged for Sari. I guess the rig wasn't good enough because I finished in third. And that's that. She got it done again for sure. This is the worst case scenario for me. Like Nicole beating Taylor in the final two is a worst case scenario for me because I remember this season started. I said, I want anybody but Nicole F to win. Anybody but Nicole F to win. Then I'm like, okay, she advanced, she beat X. She beat X and Taylor. Nicole F took out X and Taylor. I'm repeating it to myself because this does not feel like reality to me right now. This is the worst reality for me. Listen, I got Jag winning and then I got Nicole F winning back to back. Lord, Big Brother gods, why are you playing with me like this? But I will say, I'm not going to say that this season was as bad as Big Brother 25. I'm salty about the winner specifically, but as a whole, I love Big Brother Reindeer Games. But one thing that I would say is for a Reindeer Games 2, I would prefer if you did not pick people from the same season. Because how do you have three people who are on one season together? I mean, I know Cody went out pretty early, but that's unfair. And then you had Frankie, Danielle, and Brittany, who, even though they were not all on a season together, obviously they were all hanging out because they did that Big Brother promo together. So they knew they were coming on the Reindeer Games before everyone else. So I felt like that influenced the game in a game where it's supposed to be like fast paced and you figure things out on the spot, there were things that were happening that looked like they were pre-planned. And I know we don't see live feeds, but I think that at least some of this was pre-gamed. So I would like to see if it's 9 people. Well, I guess there's only 25 seasons, but even if you're gonna pick people from the same season, just don't pick people who were aligned with each other. I know Cody and Nicole, they were not cool, but still, they were kind of working together for the purposes of the game for a time. And Frankie was that connecting piece because he was cool with both of them, and he was cool with Brittany and Danielle. Frankie was one of the most connected. So I would like to see people who are a little more randomized. But regardless, I loved BB Reindeer Games. I hope they adapt some of this to the regular game. I hope they make it faster. I mean, I know that they're probably not going to, but in my mind, I wish they would make it faster. I wish there'd be less time to politic and think in between. Let me see. Hey, congrats, champ. The one person, well, you and Lisa were rooting for Nicole. So the two people who are rooting for Nicole are on here right now. Okay. But I hope, and actually based on the reception that I've been seeing about the show, I hope and expect that a Big Brother Reindeer Games 2 is going to be in store next year, and I would very much look forward to having it on there. Let me see. Who would y'all like to see on a Reindeer Games 2? I would love to see Tiffany in the game. That's one person. Put Tiffany in the game. Well, obviously, for me, Dan Giesling. I would like to see Derek in there, see what he does. Oh, yeah, I would love to see Michael Bruner in there, to be honest. Michael Bruner is someone I definitely like to see in there. Paul in a reindeer game? Come on, man. Johnny Mack. Johnny Mack. Who else? Who else? Hey, put Polly in there. I know Cass has a love for Polly. Tyler. Oh, I'd like Tyler in there. Casey. I mean, I've started to like Casey a little more recently based on the challenge, but in a game like this, I don't know if she'd be interesting enough for me, but I wouldn't mind her being there. I'll say that. Who else? Who else? Dr. Will, Evil Dick. There's a lot of people that I would love to see on something like Reindeer Games. You know what? Enzo would be pure comedy. I don't think he would win Reindeer Games. I would love it just for the sound bites. Just for the sound bites. Not Evil D. Hi, Tasha. Eric Stein. That would be interesting. Will. Yeah, I'm only going to be on here for another 5 minutes, but luckily I was able to, sneak away briefly. And then I'm going to go back and continue with this family time. But yeah, I was like, I have to come on now because if I don't get on now, everybody's coming tomorrow. So there's going to be no time for me to do this tomorrow. I might be able to do a live while I'm out, but not a live where I'm recapping because I'm not going to be able to walk and concentrate on this at the same time. I do want to do like a Survivor recap. I mean, we've been talking about that in the Discord. But just briefly, for those who are Survivor watchers, who do you think deserved that win? Do you think that it was justified? D, you think D should have won? You think Austin should have won? Or Jake? My feeling, you know what? I kind of feel like Jake might have had a fighter's chance if he had been smarter with that idol. And what I mean by that is if he had assured Katora and told Katora that he's going to use that idol on her, and then he's like, okay, we're going to get out D, then he could have used the idol on her. She for sure, she definitely, well, I can't say definitely because you can't guarantee what people are going to do, but she was more likely going to vote out D. And then if D gets out of the game and the final three are Austin, who would have smoked that competition against them, and Austin gets the choice, Austin is putting himself, well, yeah, never mind. Jake is not winning in that scenario either because Austin will put himself against Katora. He would make that fire and nobody else would have a real legitimate argument against him. So Jake doing what he did actually benefited D, quite frankly. Come on, she's got my name. Poor Jake, he's just an NPC. Someone was saying D shouldn't swear on her mother, and then she said swear on your mother too. You know, I was I was kind of cracking up about when Jake and Katura were having that conversation, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm definitely gonna vote D. What should I swear on?" And she's like, "You tell me." He's like, "I swear on my nana." And then at the end, when she voted out Julie instead of D, he was like, "I can understand everything else, but you made me swear on my nana. How could you make me swear on my nana?" And I'm sitting here like, have you ever watched any reality TV show ever, especially Survivor? It is a staple of Survivor to swear on your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa, your sister, your dog, your great grandmother's soul. Like they swear on anything. Swearing is nothing. Swearing on things means nothing, especially on Survivor. They do that all day, every day. Oh, yeah, I do remember D being like, "Oh, I'm gonna swear on them and they'll forgive me." She was telling Julie about it. When they started arguing in that final jury thing, it was giving me Mr. and Mrs. Smith vibes. It started off all calm and cool, and then all of a sudden D just flipped this switch. And I think that that one swing vote, or like that one or two swing votes that went to D, were because Austin was speaking in a really analytical sense. Like on paper, Austin was a comp beast and he was also a social strategist. He also was able to go through the whole game never getting his name written down. He would minimize his threat level even though he was a huge threat in the game. So on paper you could say that Austin did more and the only thing that D did was really win comps. And that's the argument that he was trying to make. But she flipped and spun that argument that he said by being like, even though I didn't get idols, and even though some of those major moves were not, I was not necessarily in charge of some of those major moves. The fact that I was in on what everybody was doing and people were giving me the information that I got was just as good as having the idols. I was like, that was a good one. And then the whole thing where it was like that whole thing about D lying to him and he used that as part of his argument, not knowing that she lied to him and told Julie. I was like, yeah, I think that she edged it just a little. Although I still thought it could have ended up in a tie. When I saw that she won, I felt like she was willing to do more for the win. Because I saw there were certain points where he was going hard, and then she would go hard, and then he would just stop talking because he was just like, oh man, I can't keep going here. Like, she was willing to do whatever for that million and say whatever for that million. When I visit my nana for my Christmas, I'm gonna call her Nana and see how fast she gets angry at me. She hates me already. I like her argument about having, yeah. When I liked that too, when they were like, were you playing with your head or your heart? And she was like, it's not separated. There were times that I played with my heart, and there were times when I played with my head, and they kind of operate together, and we let the game play out. I think she gave slightly better answers than his. Like I said, he gave the better answers in terms of maybe on paper, but you are also trying to get at the emotions of the jurors. And I think that she did that just a little better than him, a lot better than him. Because I wasn't even really, you know how they showed that montage about how he was that little kid with the braces and the acne, and he was not confident in himself and this and that. He didn't even use any of that. Jake used the thing about talking to his 15-year-old self, and she used the part about her family and how they impact her and everything that she does, and she wanted to retire her parents, this and that. Um, but he was just like, game. This is the game. This is the game. I did this in the game, and I did that in the game, and I did this in the game, and it's like, true, bro, but there's people in front of you that you're trying to sway, and you're not doing enough sway. So I think the vote was good. It was accurate. She was right. She was answering her questions. She was answering Jake's questions. She was answering his questions. Well, I'm just going to piggyback off of what Austin said and then smash his argument. Oh, yeah. Like, she was ready. She was ready. She was ready for all those rebuttals because there were questions that were asked to trip her up. And she just knocked those at the park. Anyways, I guess this is my reindeer game slash survivor quick survivor recap, and I want to thank all of you for joining me. Like I said, I don't really know how long I'm going to be on for the next, how much I'm going to be on in the next 5 days, but happy holidays to everyone, whatever you celebrate, and I hope you have a great evening. I'll probably give you some more clips of, my trip. I'm in Canada right now, so yeah, appreciate each and every one of you, and we will talk again soon.